Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany. I'm an educator at the St. Louis Zoo. It is Tuesday, June 9th, and I'm so excited that you are joining me today. Yesterday was World Oceans Day, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite animal in the entire world. But before we get started, we're going to go ahead and go over some community guidelines. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go over our community learning standards. So this says, I will be friendly and respectful of others in my interactions in the chat box. I will use the question and answer box for relevant and appropriate questions. I will use the chat box to respond and interact in regards to the webinar topic today. And I understand that if the moderator of the webinar has asked me to alter my behavior in the chat, I may be removed from the webinar. So before we get started, go ahead and share in the chat box where you are from and how many people are watching with you today. Also, make sure you know where the Q&A box is so that if you do have questions for me, you can type those in. And at the end of today's webinar, I will answer as many of those questions as I can. Connor is helping me out today behind the scenes and monitoring the chat. At the end of today's webinar, we will take a quick enjoyment poll for your feedback. We really appreciate your feedback. So today, all about sharks, my favorite thing in the whole world to talk about. And the picture you're looking at is actually a picture that one of our other educators, Brittany, who you may have seen do some webinars, she actually took when we were in Florida last fall. So if you look in the little wave, you can see the shark, the shadow of the shark, which is really, really cool. I have loved sharks since probably about 6 years old. And I used to go to the library when I was in elementary school and just get all the shark books I could so I could learn everything about them. And I just think they're really amazing animals, and they inspired me to earn a degree in marine biology. So I'm so excited to share a little bit of information about sharks with you today. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to test your knowledge about sharks. So I am going to stop sharing my screen in a second so I can see the chat box, because we are going to play 5 questions of true and false. So please use the chat feature for this. And if you think it is true, you can type true, or you can even put T to keep it really simple. And if you think it is false, you can go ahead and put false in the chat box. So let me get my chat box pulled up. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. First one, true or false, sharks were around before the dinosaurs. So go ahead and write true or false, or T or F, with what you think. I just saw in the chat box, Declan says true. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more second. Sharks were around before dinosaurs, true or false? And the answer is true. So dinosaurs were around about 200 million years ago, but sharks have been around for about 400 million years, which is amazing. Okay, ready for the next one? Good job on that one, everybody. Okay, the next true or false one is sharks have poor eyesight. True or false? I'm gonna read it one more time, give everybody a chance to answer. So true or false, sharks have poor eyesight. Okay, so it looks like I tricked you guys on this one, because for a long time, scientists did believe that sharks had poor eyesight, but it's actually false. With further discoveries and research, they have found out that sharks have good eyesight. In fact, sharks are one of the only fish that can open and close the pupil, the black part of their eye, to adjust to light, just like we can. They can also see in color, contrast, and detail, and they have a really special adaptation in their eye. So if you have a dog or a cat at home, you may have noticed that sometimes when the light levels are low in the evening or night, their eyes kind of have this glowiness to it. Might look a little creepy, but that eye shine is something that sharks have also, and it helps them see better in the dark. So they actually do have good eyesight. Okay, let's try the next one. So true or false number 3, sharks have ears. True or false? Go ahead and write your answer into the chat box. Okay, so true or false, sharks have ears. The answer is true. Now, they don't have ears like we do. external ears that stick out on the outside of their head. They have ears on the inside of their head, but they can hear with those ears and it helps them locate their prey. They also have a really cool adaptation along the scales on the outside of their body called a lateral line, and that picks up vibrations and sound in the water also. Okay, next one, number 4. True or false? Sharks all have to keep swimming in order to breathe. I'll read it again. So true or false? All sharks must keep swimming in order to breathe. I see some trues, I see some false. Looks like everybody's kind of split on this one. Okay, the answer is false. Now there are a lot of shark species that do have to constantly keep swimming so that they can breathe, because as they're swimming, the water goes through their mouth and through their gills, and they can pull that oxygen out of the water with their gills so that they can breathe. So for some sharks, it is true that they always have to keep swimming. But it's not true for all sharks. There are species of sharks that can stop and rest on the bottom. A lot of times this is the type of sharks that love to hang out on the bottom, and sometimes they're even nocturnal. So during the day, they're just gonna hang out on the bottom and go into kind of a resting state. They don't sleep like we sleep, but they can still rest. And the adaptation they have that allows them to do this is something called a spiracle. So right next to their eyes, there's little holes, and that can pull the water in through those spiracles and pump it over their gills so that they can still get the oxygen from the water while they are not swimming. Pretty cool. Okay, our last true and false question, if you are ready for this one. Okay, number 5, true or false? Sharks have bones. This is so exciting seeing all your answers come in. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time, true or false? Sharks have bones. Okay, the answer is false. They do not have any bones in their body. So they are called a cartilaginous fish because their skeleton is made of cartilage. So think of the hard tissue in your ear. So I actually have some shark jaws behind me here. And sometimes people think that those are bone, but they're still not bone. They're cartilage, and they have some extra calcifications to make it harder, but sharks have absolutely 0 bones in their body. So that is false. Okay, great job, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. So true or false, we did that. The next thing that I'm gonna do is talk to you about, there we go, the sharks that we have at the St. Louis Zoo. Did you guys know that we have sharks at the zoo? We do. At Stingrays at Caribbean Cove, one of our seasonal exhibits, we do have 3 species of shark. So we have the bonnet-head shark, and the bonnet-head shark is a really good example of a shark that has to always keep swimming in order to breathe. So the bonnet-head shark is always going to be cruising around that pool at Stingrays at Caribbean Cove. The white-spotted and the brown-banded bamboo shark are excellent examples of sharks that do not have to always keep swimming. So they have the spiracles. It's a little hard to see in the picture, but there's a spiracle right there, and there's the eye. So there's the little spiracle that they can pull in that water and get that oxygen going over their gills so that they can still breathe while they are stopping and resting on the bottom. So bonnet-head sharks get to about 2.5 to 4 feet max, and bamboo sharks typically get about 3 feet. Okay, so what I want to do real quick is, the next thing we're going to do is a poll. And I have a poll, and it is going to do a little more quiz on sharks. I want to see if you know what the smallest and largest sharks in the world are. So Connor's going to pull up a poll, and we're going to see what you guys think. So, what is the smallest shark in the world? Is it a cookie cutter shark, a pygmy shark, a dwarf lantern shark, or a bamboo shark? So I'm going to give everybody a few more seconds to decide. Oh, looks like everybody's pretty split on this one. All the results are coming in. Okay, so we will go ahead and end that poll for what is the smallest shark in the world. It looks like 33% of you said cookie cutter shark, 13% said pygmy shark, 40% of you said dwarf lantern shark, and 13% of you said bamboo shark. So the majority wins. The smallest shark is the dwarf lantern shark. So we're going to do our next poll, and then I will show you a picture of this shark. So the next poll, great job on that one, everybody, is what is the largest shark in the world? So is it a great white shark? Is it a whale shark, a great hammerhead shark, or a basking shark? So go ahead and pick your answer. This one's not quite as evenly spread. This one, a lot of people know the answer to this one. Give you a couple more seconds to pick your answer if you haven't already picked what you think is the largest shark in the world. And we can go ahead and end that poll. Okay, so it looks like whale shark won with 82%. And you guys are right, the whale shark is the largest species of shark in the world. Excellent. Okay, so if we look on here, so the dwarf lantern shark is about 8 inches long. Really, really tiny deep water fish. And the whale shark can get up to a max of 60 feet. So we have one shark that's like this big, and then we have a shark that is way bigger than a school bus. Now, in case you were interested, I do have the other lengths of the sharks that were on the polls. So a cookie cutter shark is about 19 inches long. A pygmy shark is 8 to 10 inches long. And then we had our winner, dwarf lantern shark, at 8 inches. And bamboo sharks are about 3 feet long. So for the great white shark, which was the first one on our largest shark poll, they typically get between 13 and 20 feet. Whale sharks, 40 to 60 feet. Great hammerheads, 20 feet. Basking sharks, 40 to 50 feet. So basking sharks are a close second with whale sharks, for sure. I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quickly and show you this model that I have. Now, if you know what type of shark this is, go ahead and type it into the chat box. I can see my chat box. I saw somebody say, that's not true, the megalodon is the largest. You know, I should have said of living sharks, because yes, megalodon was the largest, but it is extinct. So of living sharks, the whale shark is largest. So good catch on that. Okay, it looks like everybody got this. Everybody knows this is a great white, and this is probably the shark that got me interested in sharks in the very beginning. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about their anatomy, so their different body parts. So here you can see their gill slits. Now, if you've ever gone fishing, or if you have a fish at home, that's going to be a different kind of fish. That fish has bones in its body, and one difference is that you're going to see a gill cover on those fish. There's a gill cover called an operculum that protects their gills. But on cartilaginous fish like sharks, they have gill slits. Most of them have 5, but there are some that have others. Thank you, Connor, for writing the word operculum in the chat box so everybody can see how to spell that, in case you want to look it up and learn more about it. So they don't have that. They have the gill slits, not a gill cover. So up here we have our dorsal fin, and some sharks are going to have 2 dorsal fins like this one. So this would be our first dorsal fin and our second dorsal fin. The tail fin, and looking at a tail fin is something that can tell you maybe how fast the shark goes. So depending on the shape is going to help their speed. So the tail is called the caudal fin. Down here, this itty bitty one, I'm going to move this a little bit closer so you can see. This little bitty one right here is called the anal fin. And then we have a pair of fins underneath, one here and one here. These are called the pelvic fins. And then up here, the pair of fins here are called the pectoral fins. So just like other fish, they're going to have different fins to help them swim fast, steer, turn, stop, all those things that they need to do to help catch their food. And the lateral line that I talked about earlier that can help them sense vibrations in the water, that's typically going to run along the side of their body about right here. And that's actually something they have in common with the bony fish. So all fish are going to have that lateral line that's going to help them sense vibrations in the water. Okay, so I hope you guys are enjoying learning about sharks, my favorite animal in the whole world. Okay, so next up, let me minimize that. Okay, now sharks need our help, and they're really, really, really important animals. They're considered an apex predator. So what that means is in the food web, they're going to be kind of at the top. They are going to be one of the top predators, and they help balance the populations and they keep the oceans healthy. So whether it's in the ocean or on land, whatever habitat and ecosystem an animal is in, apex predators play a key role, and they're really, really important to the health of that ecosystem. Now, sharks also reproduce really slowly. So what that means is they have to age a long time before they can have offspring and have babies. And this is not all sharks, but most. And most sharks also have very few pups. So a shark baby is called a pup. So because of these things, that can make it really easy for their populations to go down when they have some problems. And let's look at some problems that sharks are facing right now. One is overfishing, especially finning for shark fin soup, and just overfishing in general. There's different types of fishing that can accidentally catch sharks even when they weren't the target of what we were trying to catch. Habitat destruction is another thing. And pollution, there's all kinds of things affecting sharks, but this is kind of the main thing, and they're super important. So let's talk about some things that you can do to help sharks and to help keep our oceans healthy. Okay, so if you have never heard of the Seafood Watch program before, it was created by the Monterey Bay Aquarium. It is a mobile app you can get for free. So you can see I have it on a phone over here. And what's really exciting is that our zoo is opening back up really soon. And when you come to the zoo and visit Stingrays at Caribbean Cove, you can get your own Seafood Watch pocket guide. So what the Seafood Watch is it helps you make healthy choices for the ocean when you're purchasing seafood, so that it's caught in a sustainable manner, and it's broken down in the green, yellow, red light. So best choices, alternatives, and stuff that you should avoid. And our zoo is going to open up this weekend. Super exciting. We are so excited to have everybody. But if you're interested in coming to the zoo, please make sure that you go to our website, STLZOOM.org, and reserve your free reservation. You're also going to need to wear a mask. You can see I have my mask right here, but we're so excited to see everybody again. And remember, if you need more details about us opening back up, just visit our website. Another thing that you can do to help sharks is buy 2 bags. So our Zoo Alive team volunteers came up with this campaign years ago. And how many of you already use reusable bags? Go ahead and type it in the chat box if you do, and show me. Ah, I already see me, I love my bags. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So reducing our plastic bag use is a huge thing. The wind carries them, everything carries them. And I know that if you're watching here in the Midwest, we are landlocked, we're not near an ocean, but that doesn't mean that we can't make a difference. Everything connects, everything flows downstream. Think of the Mississippi River right here. It flows all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. So everything people do upstream can affect downstream. So definitely using reusable bags. Do you guys have any other ideas of ways that you think you could help sharks or help the ocean? If you do, type it in the chat box. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys the names. I purposely do not have the pictures because I want you to do some research and look them up after this webinar. There are currently around 520 species of sharks, and there's more being discovered all the time. There was one that was discovered a few years back named the ninja lantern shark. And there was also one discovered recently named after a really famous, amazing woman shark scientist called Eugenie Clark. So if you don't know about Eugenie Clark, you should definitely do some research. So 2 of my favorite shark species are the Port Jackson shark. This is a bottom-dwelling shark that lives near Australia, and they lay egg cases that look like corkscrews. And they're really, really cute. Their face kind of looks like a pig, which I know sounds crazy, but just look it up. It's awesome. And then another shark species that I really like is called the tasseled wobbegong. So this is a big bottom-dwelling shark, and it has all these like tassely fringe things around its face. They're actually kind of sensors that help it find its food. but I think a tasseled wobbegong kind of looks like a Muppet, which sounds really silly. But I want you guys to look those up and learn maybe about some shark species that you've never heard of before or never seen before, because there are so many different types of shark species. Okay, let me look in the chat box and see. Okay, so I saw don't believe pollution in the water. Excellent, because even our waterways here too, they connect to other waterways, but we want to keep our own waterways healthy. Protect coral reefs. What else did I see? Don't use chemicals on your lawn. That's excellent, because all the chemicals on your lawn, rain, it's all going to go to, where do you think? The storm drains in the water. See, if you go to the beach, see trash, pick it up and throw it away. Excellent. That's one of the simplest things we can do, whether we are on vacation at the beach, whether we're here. If you see trash, pick it up. Don't always, make sure you have gloves or kind of tongs to do that. That's something my kids and I like to do when we go to the park. We just always bring a bag and pick up trash while we're there too, so we can help keep our environment clean. Not to use plastic bottles. Awesome. That's another great one. So we can do, there's ways that we can reduce our plastic use. So besides reusing reusable bags and not using plastic bags, reusing bottles is a great way to not use all those disposable plastic bottles. Actually, I have my reusable one right here. Excellent. Okay, so don't wash your car in the driveway, go to a car wash. Excellent. So this is something I actually didn't know until just a while back. And the car washes are designed to where all the soap and all the chemicals and all the stuff that gets washed off your car is going to go into one place and the water is going to get treated. When you do that in your driveway, all the soap, all the water is going to wash off all the chemicals and things off of your car. And then it goes down your driveway and it goes down into the storm drain. So it is better for the environment to go to a car wash. Okay, so I'm going to go to questions and answers now and see what you guys have. I do see one in the chat that says, do bull sharks swim up the Mississippi? So bull sharks are one of the species that can go in fresh water. Okay, what is your favorite type of shark? It's hard to pick. I don't think I could pick because I like so many. So I do like great whites. I like the Port Jackson. I like the tasseled wobbegong. I also like lemon sharks, whale sharks. There's a lot. What do I like most about sharks? Everything. I don't know if I could choose because I love them so much. They're such cool animals. Probably the fact that they have a lot of adaptations and they have a kind of a sixth sense. So up near their face, they have all these little, it almost looks like little zits or little pores. And they have, it's basically electroreceptors. So all living animals put off a really, really small electric field because their heart's beating, their muscles are moving, and those little pores are actually sensors that can pick that up. So that can help them find their food. So I just think they're amazing because they have so many cool adaptations. Is it safe to touch a shark? That's a great question. In the wild, no. And just like with any wild animals, even if you see a squirrel or a snake or any animal that's wild, we want to leave them wild and just observe from afar. So, but at Stingrays at Caribbean Cove, it is safe to touch the sharks. And our amazing educators there can help show you the best way to do that if you get to come to the zoo soon and see them. Someone has a pet eel. Wow, that's really cool. How do sharks find food? So they use their eyesight, their sense of smell, their hearing, that lateral line that I talked about that can pick up vibrations in the water. And they're also going to use those little electroreceptors called the ampullae of Lorenzini that I had just talked about too. How many teeth do sharks have? They have an endless amount of teeth. And so actually, I will very carefully pull this down. This is actually a mako shark, and I'm going to show you, see if I can get really close here. Okay. So you see how there's rows and rows and rows and rows. So they always have extra teeth so that when a tooth falls out or is broken, the other tooth is just there ready to replace it right away. Okay. Excellent. Good questions. Okay. Well, that is going to be it for today. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I love sharks, and we are going to ask you how much you enjoyed today's program. We really appreciate it when you take a moment to give us some feedback. We want these webinars to be the best they can for you. Don't forget, if you're interested in coming to the zoo, go to our website to get some more information and reserve your free reservation. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little bit about sharks, my favorite animal in the whole world. And I've even encouraged you to maybe learn some more things about shark or look up the Port Jackson and the tasseled wabagong. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody.